Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and I hope you like that slight change of theme music today. This is a response to my father, who described Mozart's music, which we normally have, as that dirge the other day, which seemed a bit harsh to me. Anyway, we're trying out a couple of other things. Let us know in a comment whether you approve or not. I suspect we're going to end up going back to Mozart in due course. And don't be too harsh on the guitar playing, please. That's me. Now, what have we got for you today, Sudoku-wise? We have got another puzzle by tenaliraman, who seems to have escaped his writer's block with some sort of gusto, because this puzzle on screen has a 100% rating on Logic Masters Germany, 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so this might be a long video. And yeah, it's got, as you can see, a fairly prominent theme, the big heart in the middle of the grid, and apparently tenaliraman created this puzzle for his wife on Valentine's Day. Well, there's no better gift in my mind. So this should be, we're doing it a bit late, I guess, but there's no harm in spreading the love throughout the year. And this has also been recommended to us by our Discord server as well, so lots and lots of people reckoning this puzzle is something very special. Now, before I get on to the rules, a couple of things to mention today. We've got a crossword bonanza going on. So earlier on today we released a video where I tried to solve Dave Gorman's latest cryptic crossword. Dave Gorman, the British comedian. And that puzzle appeared in The Independent today. And in The Independent on Tuesday is an interesting puzzle because it always has a hidden theme. And this one did indeed have a hidden theme. So see if you can spot that. Also on Patreon, we've released Mark's attempt to solve all of last week's Times crosswords in an average time of 6 minutes. Now, that is a serious challenge, and I don't think anyone else could even sniff doing that. So have a look and see how he gets on. Also, of course, on Patreon, we've got Scott Strosal's video on how to solve his Tracking the Triptych Sudoku challenge. And we've got the Wonders of the World Sudoku Hunt, which many of you are still enjoying, and that's fantastic. And with that, let's get on to tenaliraman's puzzle, and let me read you the rules. Now, I've got a note here from the testers who say that they advise me to get rid of the colouring before I start solving the puzzle, presumably because that means I'm going to have to colour the puzzle. So I'm just going to do that, if you don't mind. I think if I do that, I will get rid of the colours, and we're good to go. So normal Sudoku rules apply. Cells separated by white dots must contain consecutive digits. Cells separated by black dots must be in the ratio of 1 to 2. So that's normal crop key rules, basically. Not all white and black dots are given. Okay, so that means it's perfectly possible, for example, for those two squares to be consecutive. They don't have to have a white dot to be consecutive. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage if given. Okay, so we've only got one given total there. That's a bit mean. And digits cannot repeat within a cage. And then I've got a note which says several cages contain 9 cells and so in effect form extra regions in the Sudoku. I see. So I can see that's 9. That's 9. That's obviously 9. Oh, I see, it's the heart. Right, okay, right. Let's go back to this then. I shouldn't have deleted my heart, because restoring the heart, you can see that the heart shape in the grid is made up entirely of 9 cell cages. And so I think the point that we're being asked to note here is that in a 9 cell cage, because you can't repeat a digit in a cage, every digit in the cage must be different because there are only 9 digits in the Sudoku. So these, there's a way, in fact, of viewing this cage here as being a bit like a box of the Sudoku, because a box of the Sudoku's got to contain all of the digits from 1 to 9, and so does this purple cage here. So it's sort of an well, it's not really an extension, it's just a variant of the killer Sudoku rules. The killer Sudoku rules is applying totally normally, but where you have a 9-cell cage, it effectively forms an extra region. So, that all said, do have a go at this. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. I'm trying to buy myself time here because I'm just looking at this grid and I have not got a clue where to start. But anyway, now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So What on earth do you do with this? We've got one cage with a number, and the 14 number is not a helpful number. We've got some Kropki dots. I mean, I know that a run of 3 Kropki dots like this, because it's 3 in a row, we can't ever include 3 and 6 on a black Kropki dot, because if you try to do that, watch what happens. You go 3, 6, and then you've got a big problem in this one. So this is either going to be 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8. And the other way of thinking about that is it must always contain 2 and 4. We've got a run of 4 white Kropki dots there, so that's a relatively long string of Kropki dots. Hang on a minute, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. We've got nothing here. I mean, I am used to being faced with nonsenses regularly where there doesn't seem to be anything you can do. But this one does seem a bit extreme. So, presumably I've got to find cells where the extra regions are going to give me an issue. Just trying to spot one now. Hang on. I haven't spotted anything yet. We've got... Oh, come on, Simon. This square is weak. Yeah, let's have a look at this square. Okay, because whatever's in this square, this is a 9-cell region. Yeah, and so we can think about where it goes in box 6. It can't go in those squares. It can't repeat within its cage. So this square, whatever's in that square, has to go there in box 6. Ah, this is clever logic now. So now that square, whatever is in this square, can't repeat in its cage, and by Sudoku will have to go here in the middle of the run of Kropki dots. And it will have to go in... Oh, that's the same point. It'll have to go in there somewhere. That's not terribly useful. It'll have to go... Don't know. I see, but then this cage is the same. Look, that is symmetrical to this cage. And this T is symmetrical to this backward T. So the same logic applies over on the left-hand side of the grid. This square here, whatever's in there, can't go there by Sudoku, can't repeat in its cage, has to go here, has to go here. So we can say with some certainty that purple does not equal red, either from a chromatic point of view or a Sudoku point of view. And therefore, I suppose purple is not 2 or 4. It would be more helpful if I knew this one wasn't 2 or 4, because that's in a run of Kropki dots. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in row 1 and row 2 I can see something. I mean, it's not helpful, but I'll mention it because I'm struggling to find what to mention. But this is a 9-cell region. Therefore the rest of this row forms a sort of virtual 9-cell region, because we know in row 1 and row 2 there must be exactly 2 sets of the digits 1 to 9. So if that little shape contains one of those sets, the other regions, those contain those. Now that means these 3 squares sit apart from those squares. I don't know. Actually, maybe we do the same logic down column 1 and column 2, look. Yeah, here's something interesting. Here is something interesting. This shape here is a 9-cell region. And this purple square, so focus on column 1 and column 2. We can say with certainty that those 8 squares plus this square are definitely a complete set of the digits 1 to 9, because we know that those 8 squares plus this purple are one complete set because they're in a 9-cell region. So those squares must be one complete set. So these squares must be one complete set of the digits 1 to 9. And this is a 14 cage. So this cage here must add up to 31. How do we know that? Well, that's a little secret I sometimes bestow upon you. And that's if you add up all the digits from 1 to 9, you get the number 45. So if I know that these yellow squares, well, these squares altogether, these 9 cells, contain the digits 1 to 9 and therefore add to 45, I know these squares must add up to 14. 14 minus 45, so they are 31. So that means these are also 31. That means these, here we go. Once you get this T shape is equal to 31, I can just flip the purple square in here, because and therefore I know those squares are equal to 31. Therefore these squares are equal to 14, the same as that, and these can't be 1, 2 and 4. They must be 2, 4 and 8. And there we have a little bit of a break in. Two, 4, 8. Oh, I see. No, hang on. I've been doing this wrong. Well, not wrong so much as not seeing something easier. Oh, that's really clever. Fair play. It's very clever. Once you get the purples here, the effect, look at the black dots. So whatever goes on these black dots, where will it go in box 4 of the Sudoku? It cannot be in the purple square, because purple is not equal to a black dot square, because the purple here rules out any of those 3 squares from being purple. So these can't be whatever's in here. This can't be whatever is in here. So they have to be in there. This, whatever goes on the black dot, has to be in there, and therefore cannot repeat in this massive cage. So none of these can be these digits, and those can't be those digits by Sudoku. So everything in a black dotted square down here gets shunted into this 14 cage at the top, which is, I suppose, it's like the corollary of what I was doing down here. But this is a rather more beautiful way to see it. Basically, all you have to do is work out that those black dots there get pushed into the 14 cage, and this is a 2, 4, 8 triple, therefore. That's absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. Now, yeah, I mean, we might as well put the middle digit in rather than beating around the bush. Sorry. Make full use of our crop key. Okay, don't actually see what else I can do with that. So whatever's in this square won't be there and won't be in there, so it'll be in one of those 3 positions. Oh, and I suppose I've got hang on. I forgot. I've got the same logic over on the right-hand side of the grid. So those 3 squares are going to get pushed into these 3 squares. This is mad. So these green cells go into this green corner cage by the same logic, because whatever goes in here can't go in there, therefore gets pushed in here, therefore isn't in here, it's not in there by Sudoku, so it's pushed in the corner. So this contains 3 consecutive digits. Oh, I see. Right. This is just absolutely brilliant. Now we can use row 1 and row 2, because this is one region of the Sudoku. So these squares are another complete region of the Sudoku, so I can't repeat a digit. You can't put 2, 4 or 8 in the green cells, and they're consecutive from the white Kropki dots, so they are 5, 6 and 7. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. I love that. That's ridiculously clever. Wow. Wow. So, yeah, so just to, I mean, I presume everyone's understood that, but once you know these 3 digits are consecutive, obviously you can't include a 1 here, because once a 1 will be here, it'll be 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll have a repeated 2 in this virtual 9-cell region. You can't have a 3 in there for the same reason, because you'll have to see 2 or 4 as a consecutive digit. So the only run of 3 consecutive digits that you can fit into the set of digits 1 to 9 that isn't going to interfere with the 2, 4, and the 8 is 5, 6, and 7. So this is 5, 6, and 7, and obviously the 6 will go in the middle, and those 2 squares will not have a 6 in them. And these 3 squares are going to have to be 1, 3, and 9 in some order. Okay. 5, 6, 7. Right. Got a white dot here. Any white crop key dot, something just to bear in mind when you're doing crop key is that every white dot will contain an odd and an even digit because the digits are consecutive. So when you start getting runs in rows or columns, of even digits, it's always a bit suspicious. So this crop key dot now can only contain a 2 or an 8. Now hang on. I've got the run of 4 crop key dots. I've not thought about that yet. So yes, okay. So this cannot include 8 and 9, because if it does, it will, you can start going 9, 8, but then you're going to hit 7 and 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is 8 and 9. We know that whichever way round this goes, the 1 will be here or here. The same with the 4. So these squares become a little bit restricted. So red is 2 or 3 now. I can't quite use this white crop key dot. It doesn't look too far away though. Now, what do we do next? I am not sure. These squares. 2, 4, and 8. That can't be 3 because there's a 3 in this column now from the 2, 3 pair. Okay. It's very difficult actually when there are this number of extra regions to sort of get, at least it's difficult for me to visualize quite what I should be focusing on, because I'm sure there's going to be cells within these enormous cages that cause issues elsewhere in the grid. I mean, this one, actually no, maybe it's the red. Is it the red cells on this region? Red can't go nearly. One of those 2 squares is red, because we know there must be a red square in the 9-cell region, and by Sudoku every other square but these is ruled out. I see. Okay, so this square can't be a 2 now. And why can't it be a 2? Let's make it a 2 and see why it fails. This square would be a 3. And then we would know that red would have to be 2 and would have to go in there, and that will clash. So the point, I think, is that whether red is 2 or 3, if it's 2, you can't put a 2 here. If it's 3, it puts a 2 there, so you still can't put a 2 there. So this is 8, this is 2. keep trying to spot whether there's stuff going on with this. The other cell I was wondering about was this 5 or 7, but this 5 or 7, I think, it's ruling 5 or 7 out of 2 squares there, but it doesn't seem to be doing much more than that. Oh, bother. Sorry. It is meant to be a very hard puzzle, though, this, so it's not surprising if I get stuck. 2, 4, 8. I've got, yeah, hang on. I had an extra region over on the left, didn't I? Where was that? It was these cells. These are an extra region of the Sudoku. That's not actually helpful. I must have the same over this side as well. Yeah, you can see it more clearly on this side. One thing actually that's a little bit interesting. There's going to be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's going to be a 9th region in this grid that is very hard to see. Let me explain what I mean by that. We've got, that's one region of the Sudoku, one 9-cell region of the Sudoku. This is, if we do the heart, let's just highlight the heart. That's going to be the place we need to do. So let's highlight the heart. That's the heart. Now if we look carefully at the heart, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regions in there. I made a hole in 6 regions by doing that. So that's 6 complete regions of the Sudoku, 6 sets of the digits 1 to 9. Now we know in column 1 and column 2 that this and the T shape form another region. So that's now 7 regions. And we know over this side we've got that region and this region, the backward T shape. That is 8 complete regions of the Sudoku. Now a Sudoku has 9 regions altogether, has 9 complete sets of the digits 1 to 9. So the cells I've not highlighted, which are this one and those, this is an extra region of the Sudoku. These have to be, oh look, yeah, this is lovely. These have to be different digits. I'm actually tempted to get rid of the, it's going to mess up my purple highlighting if I get rid of it, but let's just, so these squares here, maybe I should get rid of it actually. I can get rid of the green highlighting. The green highlighting isn't adding anything. I don't really want to get rid of the red highlighting. Although maybe I can get rid, look, sorry, I'm worrying about colours. I should be worrying about solving it. This is an extra region of the Sudoku, so it has all different digits in. Well, this has a 2 in it. So this square cannot be a 2. That's got to be a 3. And that's therefore a 2. And red is now 3, so 3's go into those squares. Now, if red is 3, remember that the last extra region is this one, so it includes this funny square in the top of the grid. Well, now we've got a 3 in this extra region, so that can't be 3. And now I've got a 1-9 pair in this weird extra region. Oh, have I... Yeah, no, that's fine. Good grief. So there's like overlapping weird extra regions. So there was this extra region and this extra region, which I used. But don't forget, there's another extra region in row 1 and row 2, just thinking about the grid geometry differently, which is made up of these squares. Now in that extra region, I need to put a 3, and I can only put it here. It's most peculiar. So there's a 3 in one of those 2 squares by Sudoku. We could make this square red. There's a 3 in one of these 2 squares. There's a 3 in one of those 2 squares. Oh no, hang on. There isn't. Down here, we've got a 3 here and a 3 here, and a 3 here. So there's a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. Yep, that's 3 in the spotlight. Losing its religion again. It's very naughty, that 3. Now, okay. So let's come back and check this region again. So the gaps here have got to be 1, 5, 7 and 9 in some order. So these squares, is that right? Hang on. I'm getting confused now as to exactly... No, I've only got 4 digits in it. Oh, bother. What am I missing here then? I'm missing 1, 5, 7, 8 and 9. Oh, that's a lot less profitable. Right, so let's label up these squares. 1, 5, 7, 8, 9. That can't be 8. So purple now has to go in both those squares, be 1, 5, 7 or 9. Can anyone see anything? Struggling a bit to see what I'm missing here. It may not be, maybe I'm missing nothing. I mean, there's a lot going on in this puzzle. And there's a lot I don't feel I've explored fully. I mean, there's this run of Kropki dots, for example. I don't really see what I can do with it, but... 7, 3... Oh, I know what I can do. I can complete the Kropki dots here. That would be sensible. Does that do anything? No. Okay. No, it really doesn't. That's very annoying. Oh, I see. Right, okay. 8. 8 in the extra region, this weird extra region here, has to be in one of those 2 squares. Now that's going to be useful because that gets us this square and this square. That removes 9 from those 2 squares. Which... Oh, that is interesting for this Kropki dot now, because I've now got 4, 6 and 8 looking at this. Oh, this is lovely. Yeah, this is lovely. We know that a white Kropki dot always has to have an even digit on it. The only even digit left is 2. Can this have a 3 on it? No, there's a 3 up here. There's not a 3 in this domino. You can see that very clearly. So this is a 1-2 pair. That removes 1 from those squares. And this square, oh lovely, look. This extra region needs a 1. The only square, I think, that can have the 1, and in fact the 9, this has to be the 9 now. And this has to be the 1. It's the only place the 1 can go. That I can see that's going to fix that square as well. This puzzle is mental, absolutely mental. This is 9. 9 is purple. This is now the weirdest 3-9 pair by Sudoku. Maybe I should colour those red just to preserve sanity. This is a 1-2 pair. So in this row, I need 5 and 7. Those 2 squares are. I bet this might be an interesting Kropki dot then. Maybe, or maybe it's not. 7. Don't know. I've got a 5, 7, 8 triple in row 9. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, okay. 1 has to go here by Sudoku. This square's got to be 6. 5, 7, 8 triple here. So these squares now, we might as well delete the colouring because we know that this is 3, 4 and 9 in some order. Now, yes, here we go. Which one of 3, 4 and 9 is consecutive with 5 or 7? Well, 7 is never consecutive with any of those digits. There's a knowledge bomb. So that's 5, that's 4. We know there's a 3 in one of these squares. It's got to be this one. This could never have been a 3. That's my mistake with the pencil marks. There has to be a 3 in there because there has to be a 3 in that 9 cell region. This square's a 9. That fixes the 9 and the 3 at the top. So let's make that 3 red and then have a look at the 3s, because I must have done most of them. That shouldn't be... that's not a 3. So 3 is in one of these 2 cells. That's not quite perfect, is it? 5 comes out of those squares, so that gives us a 7, 8 pair here, and makes this square a 5, which makes this square a 7. So those squares now are a 5, 6 pair. This is a 7. Okay. 7, 5 and 6. And take stock again of this remarkable puzzle. Oh no, nearly. But look, we've now got we've got 1, 2, 6, 8, 9 all in this shape. So the other squares have got to be 3, 4, 5 and 7. And we know those aren't 3s. And we know this one isn't... Oh, in fact, look, 4, where does 4 go? 4 can only go there. That's lovely. So that gets us this as a 3, 5, 7 triple, which means the top of the grid... Oh, I misscanned that the first time. It's 1 and 6. I misscanned it as 1 and 8, and I was like, but there's an 8 already in box 1. But 1 and 6 is better, especially with a 1 here. So 1 and 6 can go in. That places 6 here. Gives us a 5, 7 pair. So this square is 2, 4 or 8, I think, by Sudoku. 3, 5, 7. And those 2 squares must be 5 and 7, which we can do. I think every digit now is like a bonus. 5 and 6 go into those squares. This 1 fixes the 1 and the 2 down here. Okay. Now where? And again, you may well be seeing a lot of things I'm not seeing here. This isn't it's very likely will be. 9 has to be in one of those 2 squares, just by Sudoku. This cage, it needs 1, 2, 6, 8 and 9 into those positions. So 6. Where does 6 go in this cage? It can only go there. I will take that. That means 6 has to go here by Sudoku. Most of the 6s must be done in this grid now. I think there's a 6 in one of those dominoes and a 6 in one of these. Okay. So 1, 2, 4 and 8 along here. Where does 1 go in row 3? It can only go into that square. So these squares are a 2, 4, 8 triple. This square can't be 2, that can't be 4, and this one can't be 8. Okay. Oh, here's a subtle point. I've got to put 4 into the 9 cell region there. And this 4 means it can't go in any of those squares, and it looks like the only one it can go into is that one. That's lovely. That gets me a few more digits. Yeah, okay, and now this column looks suddenly... I think this column is going to allow me to get this digit. Oh, in fact, yeah, there's like a weird logic going on with this cage. Because now we've got an 8 in this cage, so that ping-pongs back in here and prevents any of those being an 8. And the only place 8 can go in box 5 is here now. That is next to a crop key dot, but no, it's a 7 or a 9. I was hopeful for a moment, but my hopes were dashed. 5, 7, 5, 7, 9 there, just by Sudoku. Now these 3 squares are now 1, 2 and 9 in some order. That can't be 9 because of the 9 over here. So in this row we need 1, 2s, 5s and 7s. So this square is a 5 or a 7. Therefore this square must be a 1 or a 2 because we've got a 5, 7 pair. And it can't be a 1, so this should be a 2. There's now a 4, 8 pair in that row, so this should be a 2. There's now a 4, 8 pair in this row. So, which we could have got another way, of course. I think... No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. It just... No. Say nothing, Simon. Be quiet. This square... Oh, no. 2 or 7. Okay. It's probably going to be this thing that's going to disambiguate everything, I think. 1, 4 and 8 into those squares. There's definitely a 1 in this domino. Let's check out what this square can be. This square's got to be 4, 6 or 8. And rather annoyingly, look, that doesn't rule out any of those squares. But maybe this square will. This square can be 2, 5 or 7. It can't be 8. So if this is 7, you can see that has no fill. So this is not 7. 2, 3, 4 looks like it will work. 5 won't work. There's nothing consecutive with it. So this is the disambiguator, if you like. 2, 3, 4 have to go in there. That fixes this square at the top as a 4, gives us an 8 here, gives us an 8, gives us a 4. This can't be 2 anymore. This should be done. Why is this not done? Oh, it's the 3 I've not removed, that's why. 5, 7, so this should be a 6. That means this is a 6 by Sudoku. I've got a 5, 7 pair in the column, so this should be an 8. The 8 is lovely because it gives me this 8 and this 1. This is not 1 anymore. Where does 1 go in the middle? It's got to go there. That 1 gives me a 3. It gives me a 9, a 2 and a 1 here. And... come on, crack. 9, yeah, okay. 7 goes here, 5 goes here. This has got to be 9. This has got to be 5. 8 here fixes the bottom. That may have been done for a while. I've just not looked down there. I'm hopeful now this will finish. 7, 5, 7, 7, 5. Those two squares are 4 and 5, and I think that is the complete puzzle. What a brilliant Sudoku. That is mesmerising. Absolutely mesmerising. The start, the middle, the end, the whole thing is as beautiful as the heart that was placed in the grid at the very beginning. I absolutely adored that. Tenaliraman, take a bow. One of the great Sudoku puzzles. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Let me know if you're as blown away by that as I am. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.